Jocelyn and Solomon, and for today I'm going to discuss about the influenza virus. So, influenza is a viral infection that attacks your respiratory system, your nose, throat, and the lungs. Influenza is commonly called the flu, but it's not the same as the stomach flu viruses that cause diarrhea and vomiting. So, for most people, influenza resolves on its own. So, let's proceed for the taxonomy. The influenza virus family name is the Orthomysilviridae, and its genus is Influenza virus. So the influenza virus has three types, which is the type A, type B, and the type C. So the subtypes based on the combination of H and N protein. So next is the morphology of the influenza virus. So the influenza virus is polymorphic and its diameter is 80 to 120 nm. So it is enveloped virus possessing genome segmented into 8 linear single-stranded molecules ranging in size from 890 to 241 nucleotides. So the nucleopside of the virus is helical symmetry, about 6 to 9 nm diameter and about 60 nm in length. So the envelope contains outer lipid and the inner protein layers. So there are two types of spikes, the hemagglutinin spikes and the neuromenadase. So next is the life cycle of the influenza virus. So the replication cycle of the influenza viruses from the time of entry to the production of new virus is very quick. So with the shedding of the first influenza viruses from infected cells occurring after only 6 hours. So infectivity of influenza virus particles depend on the temperature, pH, and salinity of the water and ultraviolet irritation. So it, at a 4 degrees, the half-life and effectivity is about 2 to 3 weeks in the water, although survival under a normal environment condition is shorter. So avian influenza viruses survive in bird feces and secretions for up to 4 weeks, depending on virus type, waste type, temperature, and other environmental conditions. So next, we're going to proceed for the respiratory transmission. So the respiratory transmission depends upon the production of aerosols that contain virus particles. So speaking, singing, and normal breathing all produce aerosols. So while coughing and sneezing lead to more forceful expulsion. So while coughing may produce several hundred droplets, a good sneeze can generate up to 20,000 aerosolized particles produced by these activities are of different sizes. So the largest droplets fall to the ground within a few meters and will transmit an infection only to those in an immediate vicinity. So other droplet travels a distance determined by their size. So those droplets from 1 to 4 microns in diameters are called droplet nuclei. So this remains suspended in the air for very long periods and may not only travel long distances. So but it can reach the lower respiratory tract. So inhalation of droplets nuclei places virus in the upper respiratory tract where it may be initiate infection. So next, we're going to proceed for the diagnostic test. So to maximize the detection of influenza viruses, respiratory specimens should be collected close to illness onset as possible. So for hospitalized patients with lower respiratory tract disease and suspected influenza, lower respiratory tract specimens should be collected and tested for influenza viruses by RT-PCR because influenza virus shedding in the lower respiratory tract may be detected or may be detectable for longer periods than in the upper respiratory tract. So if the patient is critically ill or invasive mechanical ventilation and has tested negative on an upper respiratory tract specimen, so including by a molecular assay, so a lower respiratory tract specimen should be collected for the influenza testing by PT or RT-PCR, other molecular assay. So we're going to proceed for the treatment. So common antiviral prescription include zenimavir, oseltamivir, and peramivir. So this medication, known as neuraminidase inhibitors, reduce the ability of the influenza virus to spread from cell to cell, so slowing down the infection process. So, though effective, this medication can cause side effects such as nausea and vomiting. So, if you are given this medication, so you will be experiencing any of these symptoms, or if your condition worsens, stop using the prescription and visit your doctor immediately. So lastly is the prevention. So the best way to prevent the flu is through annual vaccination. So each shot protects against 3 to 4 trusted sources. So different influenza viruses within the year's flu season. So another way of preventing the virus is by washing hands, avoiding a crowded places, and always go to a clean environment. So that concludes my report about the influenza virus.